Okay, is now start?
Yes, yes.
Okay, otherwise it would be the most boring session ever, right? So, who likes slides? No one. Oh, there's usually I would say one manager in the back, but indeed someone. Okay, then I would do. I've used 3 slides and then start terminal. Then another question is who is from Greece actually? So here, very good. You should help me. You will see in a second why, because I need your domain knowledge. So AirHacks industry. So this is a thing, but this is just collection of links, GitHub and so forth. I just do Java all the time. Sorry, I'm not that cool. I have almost no idea about Python, I have to admit. I can read it, but I don't know whether I can write it. Maybe. And yeah, I do just Java for reasons. One of the reasons is on the slide. I have a YouTube channel and daily shorts. So short is like 60-second Java snippet. And this was just fun, but meanwhile, there were 1,200, and they get more and more interesting. And how they happen is, someone asked me, you know, Java is stupid, is too verbose, and then I record a short. So this is how it happens. Then, and podcast, and there was this gentleman, this evil. We had a podcast with him, right? So from the, so this is why. And also interesting, I think the speaker at the conference was Mihalis. And this is Papa Dimitriou. Is it pronounced perfectly with Greek accent? Papa Dimitriou?
Almost perfect.
Almost perfect. Thank you. What he does is really interesting. Is Tornado VM with GPU Llama, so you can run accelerated local models on that, which is really interesting. AXDV first question of the first Monday of the month. Also AX is a thing, and some live workshops and live workshops online, and there will be one in December. Okay, 2 slides. One, Java is very fast. This is one of the reasons why I do Java, because we can save money. So this is Java, and this is the Python. It's like 35 times difference. If you do something with CPU, if you're just waiting, doesn't matter what you are using. And GraalVM, with GraalVM, you can make Java consume less memory, or with different garbage collector, or GraalVM, or both. And and now the first relevant slide about this, what I would like to show you today, is this following. What it says here is in the upper corner, it says that LLMs really love Java. This is actually, by the way, this session today is about writing Java with LLMs and not about MCPs and stuff like that, right? And what it says is that if you would pick Claude Opus, which is old, so the study is old from last year, the quality is 78.7% of Java, and this is in reasoning mode and non-reasoning mode. So this is non-reasoning and this is reasoning, comparing to 63% Python, and C++ is a little bit worse, and JavaScript is significantly worse. So it means if you would just tell LLM generate Java code and generate JavaScript to solve problems, all LLMs here will generate better Java code, which is already a cool story. And today I will apply another trick, which is on a slide. I will only show the slide if we have time. If not, you have to stay up maybe in the outside. You said you don't like slides, so I will try to avoid them. So BC design, show you in the source code. And AI Rails is going to be a view skills, but you don't need them. It's just optional. And I think, this was, I created these 2 slides in the airplane, actually. So Tornado VM is you have to check it out. You can run local inference. And GPU Llama, you can load models like Mistral or Devstral on your machine, and they run locally, which gets more and more interesting. Okay, I have some more slides, but okay, this was a significant slide. But first, what I plan to do, and you ask me questions, so this is the idea. OpenMQP, QMP, and this is our website. Hopefully, yes. And this is my starting point. It has nothing to do with LLMs, nothing to do with AI. If I start a small project for me or for my clients, this is the go-to place. What it basically is, the same what Quarkus Create generates, the CLI. There is almost no difference, except there is some more dependencies. And I have a system test, like end-to-end module, which is basically another Quarkus project, which tests the first one. So this is my starting point to all Quarkus projects. Questions? No questions. Or are there questions? No. secret tip for you, because you are from Greece. What I noticed here is cold, rainy. So if you would like to experience great weather in Germany, there were no clouds, sun, and warmer than here. So if you would like to show your kids, nice weather and whatever, visit Germany. Some vacations is a great weather, right? So this was like only on Devoxx Greece you can experience that. Okay, now clone QMP. So what it does is it clones basically this repository, and I have it now Quarkus microprofile here. And this is this, so you can do it at home. So there is actually no tricks, no preparation. This is more or less what I'm doing in projects. And I opened this with Visual Studio Code with no plugins except one. Today I activated the GitHub Copilot as well, just because some companies are using this. And the first thing, someone asked me would I use Claude Code or Codex, and start with Claude. So it started. What is it? What is it? So just to get the idea, okay, how much they understand this empty Quarkus project. And the last time I get a long questions after the session, and they ask me why it works. And why is because what the LLMs are doing, they are looking at this Quarkus code, and I guess they are already assuming I'm just working against the Jakarta API microprofile, which is JAX-Suresh, JPA, and stuff like that. And what it also says is this is a Quarkus microprofile template project using BCE. So, okay, what is BCE? And it will probably say it's a design pattern. And yeah, it means what happened right now, there are no skills loaded, because you will see this, that it loads the skills, and it already knows what it is because it was trained on the data. So this is the first interesting point, right? So now what I usually do in my projects, we have to to deal with business logic. Unfortunately, I don't know, banks or whatever, right? And on stage, what I can do create, read, update, delete, hello world or whatever. But I'm here in Athens, or what I would like to do is to create, this is a God management system. Update readme MD, and this is like I reference the readme and say, and let's see what happens, and then I'm a little bit no more that nervous because then the internet is working, and okay, it says I got managed build with Quarkus and microprofile. Yes, do this, and then add a God reference, or list all gods with Java examples. So, and I actually yesterday I tried to learn a little bit, and the Zeus is German, Zeus is I think English, and the taxi driver said something completely different. And how you pronounce Zeus? ZS?
Yes.
Zevs. Oh. This is what he said. So okay, the session won't work today. So and we had then a conversation about Olympus, and he said Olympo or something like this, right? How you pronounce Olympus? Olympo, exactly. And I say, you know what, I would stick with English because no one will understand me. So now it's a little bit annoying. This is a fresh project. I always have to say yes, yes, yes. But what this sounds like fun, but it isn't, because what you usually do is, oh, he did everywhere. So we have here, let's see what he does. Something happened, management got, okay. But what I can do is I can say create Pantheon BC. And BC is business component. And let's see what happens. And what should happen, it should create, now it should load in one point of time the skill. If not, I will force it. But what you should do is you should watch how short my prompts are and the quality of the resulting code. So this is the experiment for today. And what happened is it created QMP Pantheon. So QMP Pantheon with boundary control entity. It was already on the training data, and I think the skill was not loaded. So everything happens right now in Cloud Code comes from pre-trained data. And the boundary is a Pantheon resource with GOTS, Pantheon resource with injected Pantheon, get JSON array with JSON-P, and control is the Pantheon, and with Zeus, Sky and Thunder, Sea, Apollo, Aphrodite, Hermes, and so forth. So this should look right. So you should help me. If these are different kind of gods, so we have a problem. Okay, so we did this, and the entity should be a Java record, and here it is, which serves to JSON. So the question is now, were skills used? Were skills used? And I think no, I didn't saw this. You saw this, that it loaded microprofile? Okay. So what you should use this one, microprofile server. And what this is, I show you. This is OpenAI Rails. This is this website. And what I did, I compiled rules, more or less. And this is all. It's like 300 lines of code. But if you read what it is, it says logging, just use that and not log4j. Then it says, I don't know, class naming conventions. Avoid meaningless suffixes like impulse, service, manager, and creator. So I'm forcing the LLM to create good names. Only use resource suffix for JAX, factories for actual gang of 4 factory because they love factory, because LLMs also read Stack Overflow and there's everything is a factory. And avoid method naming, avoid get and so forth. So if you read this is actually also, I hope, interesting for humans, not only LLMs. And this is all I use right now. Javadoc, do not write obvious Javadoc comments that rephrase code because they also love it. This is a getter, this is a setter, and this is a constructor. So I would say there's more, don't do this. So if you load the skill, the code will be better, okay? So we have that. So we have the Pantheon. And let's say add the list of gods to README. So this is somehow it didn't work. Maybe I have to say please, right? Sometimes in the internet everyone says please, but now we are here on the real world stage. No please. Okay, now they are, and now explain the responsibilities with Java analogies. This is easier for us. And then I would implement some BCs, some system tests, and your job is just to see what happens and actually try to criticize me that the code is not okay, and we can talk about, the cycle, the development cycle. And what I try to show you is that Java is maybe the best possible language for LLMs right now. And so what happened? We have Zeus, Sky and Thunder, the executor service. Then we have Poseidon, is the stream API, controls the flow of data in powerful currents. Right? Athena, wisdom and warfare, compiler plugin. I don't know whether this is appropriate, but it was not me, it was the LLM. Apollo, sun and music, is the logger. Wow. Artemis, hunt and moon, Ares, war, threat, interrupt. Okay, brute force causes chaos when invoked. This is cool. Super cool. Okay, so you see, and by the way, the first thing you can do, or what I do is, I add to README the business context, references to specs, because this is just fun what we do right now, but from now, the output will be even better. It'd be more GOT related. Okay, so if you have a bank project, take time, put in the README references to your bank, the entire context, it saves you a lot of time. Questions? Yes? I guess this is a good question. I guess because of that. Devoxx GR. I'm pretty sure. This is the only explanation, because I tried it once with Greek gods, and I did it also once on JFocus conference with North gods. But I said this explicitly, and then I got, I wanted to be a Thor, what I know. So this worked. And the others I forgot, actually. But, yeah.
Change it to devoxx.no and try again.
No, we have no time. But after the session, we can do this. We create community corner, and we do the same for Norway. So super cool. So we have this. This was created, and now watch this. We have Pantheon, and maybe create Ambrosia BC. And this is somehow, this is like what I understood, also after lengthy discussion with the taxi driver, something to do with power, health, and nutrition, but it's not a god. This is like artifact or something. Am I right? Ambrosia is not a god, right?
The food of the gods.
The food of gods. Oh, let's see whether it worked. So we have entity nectar, control seller, and nectar source. So we have nectar source, nectars, and so forth. Now, what I force the LLMs to generate package info, where is package info.java? Because I said write a Java doc, and the package info should contain the intentions and background information, and not just rephrase the source code. What it says, this is my words, right? Pantheon and Ambrosia RBCs are self-explanatory, so they don't need one, but the top level one could, okay. Provide context what Ambrosia is. Okay, now, I would expect background information in package info, what it actually is. So on that note, it's a very good idea to do that, to provide additional context information on BC level. Why? Because if you open the project with another LLM, they should know what's going on just by reading the code. So the cool story is Java is very explanatory language. So if I open it with different LLM, like for instance, where is my terminal? Here. This is Greece, Codex, you ask me, right? So this should be Codex. Yes, continue. GPT 5.4, and I say, what is it? And I should get, now there is no skill loaded. Now the question is, it should be able to, with the README, and tell me what it is, and we can create one component here. So what we will prove on stage, that we are actually LLM independent. So I could start with Claude Code and proceed with Codex, and then a surprise in a second, and Copilot as well. And this is ChatGPT, complete different model. And I used Opus 4.6. This was the default. 4.7 is not out yet for Claude Code, but in Copilot is. So I can also use Copilot 4.7. Okay, so what it already knows, it tells me about the structure. It says, I have no time to read it, but you have, right? I have to speak here. But what it usually have to say is, the structure and what it is, all the layers. This should be obvious here. So what is BCE? What is BCE? The oldest structural pattern I know, and developed at the end of 80s, 1992, by Ivor Jacobson and Ericsson. And the cool story is, because it's so old and there are so many resources, LLMs know it by heart. And from my perspective, I had several chats with LLMs. This is the only pattern with very strict naming conventions, boundary control entity. So it works best for LLMs. All other patterns, MVC, every project different naming. So it means I can go without skills. If I would pick another architecture, I would provide skills. More skills, you pollute more the context. The more you put in the context, the less precise results, and of course, the more you have to pay. And in Germany, first companies ask me already, hey, the inference is pretty expensive, what you can do to save money? Okay? So, and now, what I do from time to time, we can go here to back to Claude and ask, for instance, BC Ambrosia. Okay, this is now the explanation. There is no, it doesn't state that this is like a Java project. It's just what you said is like the food of gods, right? So now, create ST for Ambrosia. And what I expect to happen, that there's another module, service ST, and here in Java should create Ambrosia package with microprofile REST client, which is going to be injected, exactly, Ambrosia, microproof REST client, with base URI, and this is going to be injected to tests, a class ending with Nectar's resource client IT, because it's the common, and this here it is, and it was injected. So what I'm showing you right now, I know in advance what happens. So if you work with LLMs in such projects as Java, Quarkus in my case, is absolutely predictable what happens. And when a hallucination happens, usually, it's because it misunderstood me like prior, right? I said something, update gods, and he misunderstood what I actually meant. But so far, I never experienced a hallucinations where I try to invent, for instance, a JPA annotation or something not existing. Okay? Questions? What's wrong with you? So it should be more interactive. Say, this is all, doesn't work, this is just a fake or whatever, right? So, questions? Here, loud. Yeah. What is the answer? Can we save inference costs with BCE, Java, and microprofile? And LLM can say yes, but then I ask why. And if the answer is understandable, then we know why, okay? So whatever I say doesn't matter. So I ask, and I'm interested, what is actually the answer? The answer will be is, because everything is in the training data, you don't need any skills. If you don't need any skills, you can lower the inference costs. But because what happens with skills, the scripts are loaded on demand, appended to the user prompt, and sent to the LLMs on every request, because we have a message chain, and they are sent over and over again. It's not like once, because the entire thing has to be sent until compaction happens. So, and what it says is, this is the answer. It's cool, actually, to be a speaker nowadays. Then it says a self-documenting pattern and so forth, right? I can say, okay, how much costs can we save for a project with, let's say, 20 BCs, which is already a big, because one BC, business component, is a top-level Java package with business meaning. It would be orders, tickets, shipment, payment. Every BC has 5 to 10 entities, which means 5 or more tables. 20 would mean 100 tables, so it's a mid-range project, right? So I don't know, big or not, but it is. Okay, what it says is BCE, context size 5 to 7 times smaller, which is optimistic. What we say, I'm not that optimistic, but I would say at least 30%. But it is always more. So what it says, okay, and now approx in percent. And then it's the answer, and then we have proceed, because I would like to do a little bit more, just to show you. Someone asked me how much I work with LLMs, but what I do is, if I see that they generate suboptimal code, I take the time, I refine the skill and regenerate. Then create a skill and say, reapply the skill, so I see the refactoring going. So what I'm interested right now is to build almost perfect code, because why? If the structure is strict, the code is good, it scales linearly. But if, because the LLMs are just statistical engines, if you would have now in one project lots of gods, Norse gods and Greek gods or whatever, and everything with the same naming, they will read everything and the precision gets lost. They will create one class in this package, the other class in this package, and then they will have to append everything and send it to the server. In one point of time, it's just not as good as was before. Agree to what I would like to say? Because the average has to be good. So this is, okay, what it says is, what's the answer? Okay, this is a very optimistic. So this is the highest. The highest I saw so far, but it was 88%. And now, why not open another model? So we had already 3, but we are in Europe, and US models are not always that popular, right? At least not in Germany. Therefore, why not proceed with a French one? It's called, this is the Devoxx, what is it? And we should get similar answer if internet is. Okay. What is BCE? And this model you could run locally. Devoxx is open source. So it already knows. So, okay, is it a good idea? And how well you know micro profile and Java? And so it means this model, Devoxx, already knows everything. The skill was not loaded. We will see this. So it already knows because it's in the training data. And now the question is, are we saving inference costs tokens with this tech stack? And let's see what happens. Usually, yes. But this model sometimes misunderstands what it means. It says this is efficient. What's it? Okay. Okay. But I think it misunderstood me because it means this architecture is efficient. What I meant is whether the code generates is efficient. But this is this model is called Devoxx model, and this is the Devoxx 2. This is you can download it, run if you have a larger machine locally, or I have a subscription with Mistral. This is the Mistral's portal. Questions?
Why did you ask me if it's costing more money?
This is a good one. Do BCE do this tech stack costs more tokens, money comparing to what? To plain Quarkus without any architecture, right? This is the comparison of what? There should be something, yeah. Because to what? So, and let's see. Okay. Okay, and other questions? So, so far, what I would like to do is here, okay, what I could do now, or what I would like to do is, there's another skill, and this is called continuous testing. And what the continuous testing does, it says basically, start Quarkus, starts the system tests, and see whether it is working or not. And this is what I usually do. I try to avoid it during the talks, but because it takes longer. If you take a look at this, it's almost nothing. The skill is also available. The skill should be also available here. There's somewhere continuous testing. And what is this is all? It says start Quarkus in dev mode, verification loop, unit test, integration. This is basically it's a pipeline. That's all. And so what it does is, so it says the JSON P is missing, and I said you are not allowed to add any extension without approving. So okay, add. So there was one JSON B missing, so there was no JSON support. So now it adds that because the LLMs love extensions and dependencies. So without that, they will add everything, and this is what I don't like. So this is the first dependency, and this is now retested, and this. What is that? Token cost pattern adds more lines, but the actual token money cost difference and for most. Okay, say what in large 20 BCs project? What is the difference? Because whatever it says, you have to ask why and show me the the formula. Then you will see and this is the Devoxx. And what you should do is you should observe how the LLMs use the tools. This is how I got the idea, because I saw that if I use BCE, they exactly knew where to put the classes, because every component had the boundary. So all the grep and so forth, or with language servers, they walked into the boundary. What it says is, 60 classes, 40, 20 control. Okay, what it says is in plain Quarkus there will be no controls. It means BCE scrap, don't use any patterns. But I think he misunderstood me. What he maybe meant, this will be the further investigation. I think this will be panache without controls, just injected into Jaxra's resources. Okay. And the question should be not only inference costs, but how well they generate the code. Okay, here. And what should happen here? Okay, the tests are passed. There should be an overview table with all the system tests executed, integration tests executed, and what already happened, the system test found out that a dependency was missing and the dependency was added. Question there? What the question is what? Yes, the option is valid, but none of my clients is doing this. Therefore, I use Claude right now because it's more realistic. So I use Devoxx right now just in stage, and usually it is very fast. Today is slow. The Devoxx, so usually the vibe is very fast. So today I'm noticed it is the model is slower than usual. So it is a valid option, and I think this is going to be more and more an option, because I think next year we'll see more code-specific models, you know. Why I need the knowledge about Greek gods in a coding Java model? I could have a model with just knowledge about Java, not necessarily about Greek gods or Norse gods or whatever, right? Maybe Greek gods are useful, but Norse gods could be pruned, right? So, and what it says is build unit test pass, integration test pass, system test 5 tests, 0 failure, so it works. And this is usually my mode. So if you change something, all the tests are rerun and until it works. So we have and what I also would like to have, create Oracle BC. And Oracle is also not a god, right? Oracle is a god? No. But it's from Greece mythology, right? Very good. So now it creates an oracle, which should predict stuff. So this is Java component, oracle, boundary, prophecies, and control, seer. Delphi, know thyself. Delphi, nothing in excess. The oak speaks truth, from Dodona. You know Dodona? Very good. So now, of course, use Java-related prophecies. But the interesting part is it will know that you have to look to control because here's the business logic, because of definition. That's the entire point of the thing. Okay, and package info is also created, manages prophecy from ancient Greek oracles, Delphi. So you see, it learned from my pattern before. I wanted to have a package info with significant information, and now it does that because it learned from the past. What I usually do, I have a little bit more time. The next question is, would it help if you would introduce our own annotations which are domain specific? And so far the answer was always yes. So if we put annotations with domain specific logic, the quality or the context is going to be even better. So my idea of the entire thing is to generate almost perfect Java code which scales linearly, because the components are just, you know, that they are on the same level, so they scale linearly. And this is good for humans and for LLMs. This is also my observation, that if the code is understandable for LLMs, you save tokens, but it's also maintainable for humans as well. Okay? So let's do this. I have just 5 minutes left, so you don't have too much time to ask questions. And then I show you the trick, why it actually works. This is one slide or more. Yeah, Delphi, write once, run anywhere. Everything is an object, keep your dependencies to 0. So I like Dodona. Okay, now, because we know what BCs are, business components. These are domain Java packages on the same level. What I can ask is create a BC overview diagram. And should ask me, because it will load a skill from me. And I said, if someone asks such a question, I would like to know whether there should be just the outside view or the view inside the components. So this was my expectation, actually. But no one knows because the models are changing. But it loaded the BCE diagrams, skill, which is also in AI Rails. But my goal is to keep the skills minimal. I started last year. This was a huge file. And now they are more, maybe you say the first one was 300 lines with Javadoc. The continuous deployment were like 50 lines, and this BC diagrams are even smaller because of the training data. Okay, and it says between BCs, yeah, do this, and it should actually add this BC diagram to the README here. And we will see this in a second. Okay. And what I did in this skill, I said, okay, all the mermaid diagrams, all the names should have business names. Before the skill, it just used A, B, C, and D, which I didn't like. So this, yeah. Okay, now, where is it? So this is the God, this is the mermaid diagram. Let's see, open preview. And these are health, greetings of force. Unfortunately, we have no dependencies between gods. So, so you should see the dependency here. So I actually forgot to do it. Pantheon, we have entity, God, and God can have relation to ambrosia, right? Can have? No? Yeah? Sure, okay. A God should have a relation to ambrosia. If we would use JPA, which I don't have right now, because most of my project right now are NoSQL, but I will use Jakarta data or a JPA, it will translate the relation to JPA relation. So I would expect to see one-to-one, one-to-many, and so forth. This is actually the cool story, because it already knows by heart JPA. So I have no JPA skill, but I will ask what JPA is, will know, because in the training data. Okay, so what we have is, we have lots of gods with nectar, ambrosia, nectar. What is kikion? Poison. Oh, Demeter, harvest, kikion. Okay, I hope this is true. And now I would say update diagram. We can do this. Update BC diagram to reflect. Or just update diagram. What you should actually observe, how short my prompts were and what happened, right? This is the interesting part. I didn't write, and how short the skills were. Now, what happened? Why it works that well? Very briefly. So my entire trick today was, I'm using Quarkus, but I never tell LLM generate Quarkus code. Why? Because if you go to Quarkus tutorial, there are too many possibilities. I could use Panache, JDBC, I could use Hibernate, or I can use JPA and Jakarta data, or I could use REST Easy, Jakarta REST, or reactive routes. And because there are so many possibilities, this is why the answer surprised me and cannot be right, actually. Because there are so many answers, I will have to create a big skill to tell exactly what I expect. But what I did instead, I said, hey, LLM, you're only allowed to, I grounded the LLM against the API. You're only allowed to use microprofile and Jakarta APIs. And because it was pre-trained on the data, the code was near perfect. So I hope you like that, but it was really lean, to the point code, actually. And another, what is the case? So all the Jakarta APIs and microprofile APIs were written with RFC 2119, and this RFC declares must not, shall, and so forth. And if you go to JAX-RS, you see that first what happens, they say, okay, all the keywords used in the spec are based on the RFC 2119. It means all the LLMs read this because they are data hungry in training phase, and they read all the specs, and this is why they know it by heart. And this is why I never had a hallucinations here. And even more interesting, so the spec ships with examples, but now the most interesting part, this is Open Liberty server. This is the API. It is openly available. And this API points to OpenLiberty, or OpenLiberty points to JAX-RS. Helidon, another runtime, points to JAX-RS. Then Quarkus points to JAX-RS. It means if I ground my model against JAX-RS, there are no versions, no cutoff date, nothing matters. There's only one path. And this is why they know why it worked what I showed you today. With 3 words prompts, we can generate good applications. And the same is working for health checks, metrics, OpenTelemetry. They know whatever is in the spec. They know it really, really well. So it means they know it well. Java, Jakarta, microprofile, BCE is known without anything. It's just and per accident, I always use BCE, so lucky me, because all my projects can be directly migrated. So massive inference costs, you can ask your LLM or just try it with and without, and you will see, maybe if you don't have to don't count the tokens, but just measure the time, how long it takes to generate one component. Because if you have structured approach, you get the result faster. If it's unstructured result, it takes longer. Another tip is start on a brownfield project. This is why I have the quick starter. So I have some prepared, scaffolding. Open in the scaffolding the LLM, I get better results. And this basically was. I only would like to see whether the diagram was updated. Open with preview. Here. Okay, I didn't update the BC diagram, but it did it anyway. Yeah, so you see, if with standards and Quarkus, the LLMs do something before you ask. So this is like the next step of agentic development. We don't prompt it anymore; it just happens, and we just watch. It's the best job ever, right? These continuous vacations. This is the future of Java developers. Any questions? Remaining questions? DevStrol is already there. I asked a professor at the another conference. He said this would be incredibly easy. You would have to pick, a pre-built model, and he mentioned something from this, an open source Google model, and then just use Quarkus data and run it. But today, with a little skill, you have it already. Because if you use standard, it works. I think with Jakarta, microprofile, Quarkus, we have it. If we leave the path, then is the problem, right? And what's also interesting is, what is your cutoff date? This is the most important question. And then the next is, how is the impact on the tech stack? And they will say nothing, because all the changes in microprofile Jakarta, they were backward compatible. It's the cool stuff. Usually, if you use a framework, it's a big deal which version. You have to tell LLM generate, I don't know, Quarkus version 3 or 2, or 1, it is different, right? All the POM looks differently, but we had the compatibility layer that we are famous. Microprofile in Jakarta forever, it was compatible, right? So it's May 2025. It means now everything until May 2025 is known by heart by the model. It means I'm curious about Opus 4.7, and it should be maybe Java 25 completely trained. Right now, what happens with Java 25, sometimes I get suggested the preview tags, right? So, which is not necessary. Any other questions?
Hopefully not, because we're running out of time.
Oh. So, thank you a lot. I hope it was interesting. It was like a freestyle session. And see you next time.